Massive glaciers, staggering mountains, plains dotted with wild animals, we sure live in a big, beautiful world. And while pinpointing all of Mother Nature's greatest hits could take a lifetime, we think these out-of-this-world landscapes and awe-inspiring wonders. From Arizona to Antarctica, need to move to the very top of your travel list. Number 25. Angel Falls. The tallest waterfall in the world, Angel Falls in Venezuela certainly makes for one of the most spectacular sights imaginable. Shooting off the summit of a tabletop mountain, the fall plunges 807 meters uninterrupted to the jungle below, with much of the water turning to mist before it reaches the ground. Adding in its other cascades and rapids, and Angel Falls' total height is a whopping 979 meters. Due to its remote location in Kainima National Park, Angel Falls is quite hard to visit, though its stunning setting and awe-inspiring scenery certainly makes it well worth the effort. Number 24. Giant's Causeway. Situated at the base of steep cliffs, on the northeast coast of Ireland, the Giant's Causeway is a natural rock formation that does indeed look as if it were fashioned by giants. The honeycomb formation of hexagon-shaped basalt columns appears too geometrically perfect to have been shaped by nature. It actually took 60 million years of tectonic plate movement, lava flows and erosion to fashion the stepping stone columns into their present shape. Clifftop trails offer great views of the rocks, and a flight of steps leads down to sea level. Number 23. Banff National Park. Banff is part of the UNESCO Rocky Mountain Park's World Heritage Site, which extends over some 23,000 square kilometers of spectacular mountains, lakes, glaciers, and alpine forests. Banff National Park is located in the province of Alberta, 850 kilometers northeast of Vancouver. Set amongst the beauty of the Canadian Rockies, the park contains several beautiful lakes, including Lake Louise and the much-photographed Moraine Lake. Lake Louise is known to the Stoney Indians as Lake of the Little Fishes. Banff National Park is home to 53 species of mammals. This incredible diversity of wildlife is a reflection of the wide range of habitats found in the park, due to variations in elevation and climates. Over 260 species of birds have been recorded in Banff National Park. It's also a good place to see glaciers, ice fields, and wildlife, including elk, deer, moose and bears. As a year-round tourism destination, the park draws 3 million visitors annually. Number 22. Napali Coast. Dominating and defining the northwest of Hawaii, the Napali Coast is one of Hawaii's most famous and photographed sites. The first settlers on the Napali Coast were Polynesian navigators around 1200 AD. Soon after, many Tahitian migrants followed, shaping the culture of Kauai and other Hawaiian islands today. Its gigantic jagged cliffs rise to 1,200 meters above the sparkling waters of the Pacific Ocean, with scenic beaches and coves hidden below. As the rugged terrain is so inaccessible, the only way to visit is by hiking, kayaking, or helicopter, with phenomenal panoramas wherever you look. Camping in Napali Coast State Park is only allowed with a valid permit. There are 3 sites that allow camping access. While it is famed for having featured in Jurassic Park, the grand and gorgeous stretch of coastline has appeared in numerous films and TV shows over the years. Number 21. Mount Everest. Mount Everest attracts many climbers, including highly experienced mountaineers. There are 2 main climbing routes, one approaching the summit from the southeast in Nepal, known as the Standard Route, and the other from the north in Tibet. While not posing substantial technical climbing challenges on the Standard Route, Everest presents dangers such as altitude sickness, weather, and wind, as well as hazards from avalanches and the Khumbu icefall. The first recorded efforts to reach Everest's summit were made by British mountaineers. As Nepal did not allow foreigners to enter the country at the time, the British made several attempts on the North Ridge route from the Tibetan side. Like other high peaks in the region, Mount Everest has long been revered by local peoples. Its most common Tibetan name, Chomolungma, means Goddess Mother of the World or Goddess of the Valley. The Sanskrit name Sagarmata means literally Peak of Heaven. Number 20. Pulpit Rock. Pulpit Rock is a tourist attraction in the municipality of Strand, in Rogaland County, Norway. Pulpit Rock is a steep cliff which rises 604 meters above sea level. Atop the cliff, there is an almost flat top of approximately 25 by 25 meters. Pulpit Rock is located near the western part of the fjord, and on its north side. The walk to Pulpit Rock is very steep in places. The path starts at the Priakastalhita, at an elevation of approximately 270 meters above sea level, and climbs to 604 meters. The walk takes 2 to 3 hours depending on traffic along the trail, experience, and fitness level. Even though the elevation differential is only 334 meters, and the walk is not particularly long, about 3.8 kilometers each way, the total elevation gain and loss over the course of the hike is more than one might initially expect, as the path climbs and descends various ridges. The walk is more difficult in winter and spring when there is snow and ice. Number 19. The Maldives. Located in the middle of the Indian Ocean, the idyllic Maldives archipelago is breathtakingly beautiful. It consists of a chain of about 1,200 small coral islands and sandbanks, some 200 of which are inhabited, grouped in clusters or atolls. Close to the equator, the Maldives has a warm and tropical climate, perfect for lazy beach days all year round. This low-lying island group is celebrated for its high level of luxury and emphasis on the slow life. Perfect for honeymooners. The Maldives designer accommodation is out of this world. Take your pick of underwater villas, overwater villas, and everything in between. There's even an underwater restaurant for those looking to dine surrounded by schools of tropical fish. The population of Maldives belongs almost entirely to the Maldivian ethnic group, which is the result of various peoples settling in the island successively through the country's history. Number 18. Salar de Uyuni. Located in the Andes Mountains, Salar de Uyuni is the world's largest salt flat, or playa, at over 10,000 square kilometers in size. It is in the Daniel Campos province in Potosi in southwest Bolivia, near the crest of the Andes at an elevation of 3,656 meters above sea level. The salar was formed as a result of transformations between several prehistoric lakes that existed around 40,000 years ago but had all evaporated over time. It is now covered by a few meters of salt crust, which has an extraordinary flatness with the average elevation variations within 1 meter over the entire area of the salar. The expanse of salt creates an unending white landscape during the dry season. The area is most breathtaking in the rainy season when it is covered in water. The reflection of the blue sky creates a spectacular and surreal landscape, though some tourists insist on seeing the salt. Number 17. Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park is an American national park located in the western United States, largely in the northwest corner of Wyoming and extending into Montana and Idaho. On March 1, 1872, Yellowstone became the first national park for all to enjoy the unique hydrothermal and geologic features. Within Yellowstone's 2.2 million acres, visitors have unparalleled opportunities to observe wildlife in an intact ecosystem, explore geothermal areas that contain about half the world's active geysers, and view geologic wonders like the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone River. Hundreds of species of mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians have been documented, including several that are either endangered or threatened. The vast forests and grasslands also include unique species of plants. Yellowstone Park is the largest and most famous megafauna location in the contiguous United States. Grizzly bears, wolves, and free-ranging herds of bison and elk live in this park. Number 16. Wadi Rum, southern Jordan. Wadi Rum is a desert valley known for its breathtaking scenery. There are no permanent settlements in this secluded desert region, but nomadic tribes do occasionally pass through. Wadi Rum has been inhabited by many human cultures since prehistoric times, with many cultures including the Nabateans leaving their mark in the form of petroglyphs, inscriptions, and temple. In the West, Wadi Rum may be best known for its connection with British officer T.E. Lawrence, who passed through several times during the Arab Revolt of 1917 to 1918. The area is centered on the main valley of Wadi Rum. The highest elevation in Jordan is Jabal ad-Dami at 1,840 meters. The area has been used as a background setting in a number of films. Number 15. Lake Baikal. The deepest and oldest lake on Earth, Lake Baikal is reputed to boast some of the clearest and cleanest waters around. To top it all off, the enormous freshwater lake contains more water than all the Great Lakes in North America combined. No wonder that Lake Baikal is nicknamed the Pearl of Siberia. Lake Baikal is home to thousands of species of plants and animals, many of them endemic to the region. It is also home to Buryat tribes, who raise goats, camels, cattle, sheep, and horses on the eastern side of the lake. While the lake makes for fabulous viewing when the summer sun glints off its dark waters, it is no less impressive in winter when it freezes up 2 meters deep in parts. Whether it's ice skating across the surface or hiking along the scenic shoreline, Lake Baikal is a nature lover's dream. Number 14. Iguazu Falls. The Iguazu National Park consists of 2 national parks, one in Foz de Iguazu, Brazil, and the other one in Porto Iguazu, Argentina. The curious thing is that although one only sees the falls as the main attraction, the park has a size of 252,982 hectares, 67,720 on the Argentine side and 185,262 on the Brazilian side. The Iguazu National Park, shared between Brazil and Argentina, is one of the main attraction, not only touristically, but also ecological and natural. Millions of people enjoy this impressive natural wonder supported by UNESCO. The origin of the name Iguazu comes from the Mbia Guarani indigenous people, who in the translation into our Spanish, would remain as Agua Grande, big water. The reason for the name is self-explanatory. The first person who found Iguazu Falls was a Spanish explorer named Álvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, who during a journey from what we now know as Asunción, Paraguay, would encounter the falls, which he would call Saltos del Santa Maria. Later, the first Jesuit missions arrived. Today its ruins are an interesting tourist attraction, which made up more than 30 towns distributed in southern Paraguay, Brazil, and the entire province of Misiones. After this, by 1768, the Jesuits would be expelled by the Crown of Spain, and the place would be forgotten. For almost 3 kilometers in total, gorgeous falls course over the Paraná Plateau, with the undoubted highlight being Devil's Throat Canyon. Visitors can take boat trips along the Iguazu River or explore the nearby paths and trails. Number 13. Sahara Desert. The Sahara Desert is the world's largest hot desert and the 3rd largest desert behind Antarctica and the Arctic. Located in North Africa, it covers large sections of the continent, covering 9,200,000 square kilometers. Most of the desert consists of largely barren, rocky plateaus with very little sand. The Sahara receives less than 3 inches of rain a year on average. Even in the Sahara's wettest areas, it may rain only once or twice a week and not rain again for years. The Sahara is much more than just sand. In fact, the majority of the Sahara is made up of barren, rocky plateaus, as well as salt flats, sand dunes, mountains and dry valleys. The rivers and streams found in the Sahara are all seasonal, apart from the River Nile. There are over 20 lakes in the Sahara, most of which are saltwater lakes. Lake Chad is the only freshwater lake in the desert. The highest peak in the Sahara is Emikusi, 3,415 meters, a volcano located in Tibesti Mountains, Chad. Other mountain ranges in the area include the Ayer Mountains, Saharan Atlas, Adrar de Iforas, Hagar Mountains, Tibesti Mountains, and the Red Sea Hills. The population of the Sahara is just 2 million. People who live in the Sahara are predominantly nomads, who move from place to place depending on the seasons, whilst others live in permanent communities near water sources. Number 12. The Northern Lights. An incredible natural phenomenon, an aurora or polar lights and their captivating colors, shapes, and swirls appear when there is solar activity. The best chance to spot them will be in the winter, when the nights are longer. The further north you go, and the further you travel away from cities, the better your view will be. Besides watching them out of your window, you can also take tours into the wilderness to see the shimmering lights from secluded, light-free spots and stay at cozy cabins and campgrounds. Auroras are the result of disturbances in the magnetosphere caused by the solar wind. Major disturbances result from enhancements in the speed of the solar wind from coronal holes and coronal mass ejections. These disturbances alter the trajectories of charged particles in the magnetospheric plasma. These particles, mainly electrons and protons, precipitate into the upper atmosphere. The resulting ionization and excitation of atmospheric constituents emit light of varying color and complexity. The form of the aurora, occurring within bands around both polar regions, is also dependent on the amount of acceleration imparted to the precipitating particles. Number 11. The Great Blue Hole, Belize. The Great Blue Hole is a giant marine sinkhole off the coast of Belize. It lies near the center of Lighthouse Reef, a small atoll 70 kilometers from the mainland and Belize City. The hole is circular in shape, 318 meters across and 124 meters deep. It has a surface area of 70,650 square meters. It was formed during several episodes of quaternary glaciation when sea levels were much lower. Analysis of stalactites found in the Great Blue Hole shows that formation took place 153,000, 66,000, 60,000, and 15,000 years ago. As the ocean began to rise again, the cave was flooded. The Great Blue Hole is a part of the larger Belize Barrier Reef Reserve System, a FLUA World Heritage Site. This blue hole is definitely one of the most impressive places you can visit on Earth. Number 10. The Great Barrier Reef. One of Australia's most remarkable natural gifts, the Great Barrier Reef is blessed with the breathtaking beauty of the world's largest coral reef. The reef contains an abundance of marine life and comprises of over 3,000 individual reef systems and coral reefs and literally hundreds of picturesque tropical islands with some of the world's most beautiful sun-soaked, golden beaches. Because of its natural beauty, the Great Barrier Reef has become one of the world's most sought-after tourist destinations. The Great Barrier Reef is one of the 7 wonders of the natural world, and pulling away from it, and viewing it from a greater distance, you can understand why. It is larger than the Great Wall of China and the only living thing on Earth visible from space. A large part of the reef is protected by the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, which helps to limit the impact of human use, such as fishing and tourism. Other environmental pressures on the reef and its ecosystem include runoff, climate change accompanied by mass coral bleaching, dumping of dredging sludge and cyclic population outbreaks of the crown-of-thorns starfish. The Great Barrier Reef has long been known to and used by the Aboriginal Australian and Torres Strait Islander peoples, and is an important part of local groups' cultures and spirituality. The reef is a very popular destination for tourists, especially in the Whitsunday Islands and Cairns regions. Tourism is an important economic activity for the region, generating over $3 billion per year. Number 9. Antarctica. Antarctica, on average, is the coldest, driest, and windiest continent on the planet, and has the highest average elevation of all the continents. Although about 98% of Antarctica is covered by ice, it technically is a desert with very little precipitation. Antarctica is colder than the Arctic because much of the continent is more than 2 miles above sea level, and because the Arctic Ocean covers the North Polar Zone, transferring the ocean's relative warmth through the ice pack. Sea life around Antarctica includes penguins, blue whales, orcas, and seals. Antarctica is governed by about 30 countries, all of which are parties of the 1959 Antarctic Treaty System. According to the terms of the treaty, military activity, mining, nuclear explosions, and nuclear waste disposal are all prohibited in Antarctica. Tourism, fishing, and research are the main human activities in and around Antarctica. During the summer months, about 5,000 people reside at research stations, a figure that drops to around 1,000 in the winter. Despite its remoteness, human activity has a significant impact on the continent via pollution, ozone depletion, and climate change. Number 8. Galapagos Islands. If you want to get a glimpse of what prehistoric animals may have looked like, head to the Galapagos Islands. They are distributed on either side of the equator in the Pacific Ocean, surrounding the center of the Western Hemisphere, and are part of the Republic of Ecuador. Located 906 kilometers, 563 miles, west of continental Ecuador, the islands are known for their large number of endemic species that were studied by Charles Darwin during the second voyage of HMS Beagle. His observations and collections contributed to the inception of Darwin's theory of evolution by means of natural selection. The Galapagos archipelago is characterized by numerous contemporaneous volcanoes, some with plume magma sources, others from the asthenosphere, possibly due to the young and thin oceanic crust. The volcanoes at the west end of the archipelago are in general taller, younger, have well-developed calderas, and are mostly composed of phleitic basalt, while those on the east are shorter, older, lack calderas, and have a more diverse composition. Although the islands are located on the equator, the Humboldt Current brings cold water to them, causing frequent drizzles during most of the year. The weather is periodically influenced by the El Niño events, which occur about every 3 to 7 years and are characterized by warm sea surface temperatures, a rise in sea level, greater wave action, and a depletion of nutrients in the water. Number 7. Pamukkale. Pamukkale, meaning cotton castle in Turkish, is an unreal landscape in western Turkey, famous for its white terraces. Pamukkale's terraces are made of travertine, a sedimentary rock deposited by mineral water from the hot springs. In this area, there are 17 hot springs with temperatures ranging from 35 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. Pamukkale is recognized as a World Heritage Site together with Hierapolis. Hierapolis Pamukkale was made a World Heritage Site in 1988. It is a tourist attraction due to this status and its natural beauty. People have bathed in its pools for thousands of years. The ancient Greek city of Hierapolis was built on top of the hot springs by the kings of Pergamon. The ruins of the baths and other Greek monuments can still be seen at the site. Number 6. Mount Bromo. Mount Bromo is an active volcano and part of the Tengger Massif in East Java. A typical way to visit Mount Bromo is from the nearby mountain village of Samora Lawang. From there it is possible to walk to the volcano in about 45 minutes, but it is also possible to take an organized jeep tour, including stops at the viewpoint of Mount Penanjakan. The sites on Mount Penanjakan can also be reached on foot in about 2 hours. Depending on the level of volcanic activity, the Indonesian Center for Volcanology and Disaster Mitigation sometimes issues a warning not to visit Mount Bromo. The top of the volcano has been blown off and the crater inside constantly belches white smoke. Number 5. Victoria Falls. If you thought that Niagara Falls was large, well, Victoria Falls dwarfs it with its colossal curtain of water that stretches for 1,708 meters, reaching 108 meters in height. It is these epic proportions that make Victoria Falls the largest waterfall in the world. Breathtaking to behold, the endless flow of water that tumbles over the cliff almost defies belief. Fittingly, the cacophonous roar that rises from the gorge below and the fine spray that hangs in the air saw the falls named the smoke that thunders in the local Lozi language. Nestled on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, Victoria Falls truly needs to be seen to be believed. Number 4. Grand Canyon. Renowned the world over, the Grand Canyon needs no introduction. One of the largest canyon in the world really has to be seen to be properly appreciated. Whether you visit the north, south, east or west rim areas, it's always a giant sculpture of light and shadow that barrels its way across an awesome landscape. Around the national park that encompasses it there are a whole host of trails and viewpoints. Cape Royal on the north rim is a top vista of many major parts of the Grand Canyon. You can even reach down to the canyon floor, over a mile down in some places, via steep, meandering trails. Number 3. Ha Long Bay. Located in northeastern Vietnam, Ha Long Bay resembles a scene from a fantasy story with its thousands of limestone karst islands of different shapes and sizes. Ha Long means descending dragons, which is indicative of the silhouette of the limestone outcrops that poke out from the water. Some of the islands contain lakes while some are hollow, with a colorful fairyland of grottos inside. An overnight boat trip is a spectacular way to experience the beauty of the bay and to see as many of the islands as possible. Number 2. Amazon rainforest. If you lived long enough to count that high, you could count 390 billion trees in the Amazon rainforest. This statistic is mind-boggling, to be sure, but then the Amazon rainforest is one awesome piece of nature, covering about 3/4 of the Amazon River basin. It is the world's largest tropical rainforest. 60% of the rainforest is located in Brazil with sizable chunks in Peru and Colombia. Bordering countries have small shares. For sure, the rainforest is loaded with unique flora and fauna. Number 1. Serengeti National Park. The Serengeti ecosystem is located in northwestern Tanzania and extends to southwestern Kenya. The region hosts the largest mass movement of land mammals on the planet and one of the most breathtaking events in the animal kingdom. Every year, 1 million wildebeest and 200,000 zebra make a 300-mile round trip from the southern Serengeti in Tanzania to the northern edge of the Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya. The Great Migration is probably Africa's greatest safari spectacle and the most exceptional natural wonder of the world.